Hello everyone. I'm simply sharing this video as I would say as a way for me to basically share my experience with Dr. Elahi and what a nightmare it has been from day one, and hopefully to help others, know the full story of what could potentially happen to them if they have surgery with him. I've also attached some screenshots of other people's reviews and what they experienced as well with Dr. Elahi Mohammed. And I've written down my exact experience, so I'm going to be reading it to you all. Alright, so here we go. Going to Dr. Mohammed Elahi for plastic surgery was the absolute worst decision I could have ever made in my life. I am left with horrible scoring and results that have left me looking exactly the same as before surgery. When I first went in for my paid consultation, I was shocked to find that I was paying for a consultation with Elahi's nurse and not him. I thought to myself, why am I paying for a consultation with the nurse? But I simply figured that whatever I said to her, surely she would relay back to the surgeon, since she had a pen and paper in hand. As we spoke, I explicitly stated I was interested in a deep plane facelift. She assured me that the facelift was going to be a deep plane facelift. Our entire conversation, she had been writing down everything on paper, which led me to believe she was indeed logging down the information I was giving her as expected. When I met Elahi, he was very charismatic, and he seemed to listen to my concerns. I told him I was unhappy with my marionette lines and was interested in a deep plane facelift to fix the issue. He assured me he could fix the problem and even told me he would give me his personal number to call him after surgery in case of any medical issues I may experience. I was so impressed with our consultation, I immediately booked the surgery. Day of surgery, I came in with my boyfriend. I told the surgeon I wanted my face to be snatched and these marionette lines lifted and asked if he was absolutely sure he could do it. He nodded yes, which I thought was odd, considering he had been very vocal our entire conversation up until that point. That should have been a red flag for me, but unfortunately, I ignored my intuition. I asked him if when he was making the facelift incisions in my hairline and my hair fell out that he could keep my hair in a bag and give it to me when I wake from surgery. He assured me that I wouldn't lose any hair when he was making incisions, and any hair loss would be from post-op swelling at home. He also did not give me his personal number, as he claimed during consultation. Instead, I was given a sheet with a general hotline aftercare number. My boyfriend, who was there, supportively hugged me and assured me everything would be fine as I went in for surgery. When I awoke and was taken home, I looked in the mirror, and despite being swollen, it was very obvious the issue was not addressed. Marionette lines still visible, zero change. As time passed and swelling decreased, the marionette lines were still visible. If that wasn't bad enough, the rest of my face looked exactly the same and was clearly not lifted at all. It was almost as if Eli simply gave me facelift incisions and did not lift anything, which should not be the result of a deep plane facelift. My recovery was extremely brutal, and I attempted to contact the hotline number he had given me for better post-op care instructions. The phone line was busy for over 2 hours, so I ended up hanging up. I thought to myself, what if I had a serious medical issue? I wouldn't have been able to even contact him or anyone on that number. As weeks went by, I noticed my face looked more and more exactly the same as before. When I told people I had a facelift, they would laugh and accuse me of lying or joking. When I told them I was serious, 9 times out of 10, they remarked I looked the same or I should ask for a refund. I decided I would go have a talk with him about my disappointment with my surgical outcome. When I went to his office, the first thing he did was hand me a picture he took showing all the skin he cut off during my facelift, as well as all the hair of mine he cut off when making the facelift incision. Sorry, give me a minute. I was very upset because he had blatantly lied about not cutting any of my hair during post-op consultation. I explicitly asked him to keep any of my hair he cut in a bag for me, but Elahi clearly couldn't be bothered. Regardless, I had more pressing concerns and asked him what type of facelift did he perform on me. To my shock and horror, he said a smaz facelift. I couldn't believe my ears. I was furious. I tried my best to keep my composure and requested a refund. What I received was a barrage of gaslighting from both the surgeon and his assistant/nurse, who went from acknowledging I requested a deep plane to then stating, what I thought you meant is muscle and skin tightened when you asked for a deep plane, which was absolutely ridiculous. At one point, Elahi claimed he had no memory of me even requesting deep plane and stated he never tells his patients what type of facelift he will be performing on them until after surgery. I was honestly disgusted by the lies being thrown in my face. He then said, I can do a deep plane on you, though it won't make much difference to your marionette lines. Which was a totally different statement from what he said before I made my deposit for surgery during consultation. I declined the revision based off the fact that I lost all faith and trust in him or his work. The lies and gaslighting I was currently experiencing would never let me trust him with my face ever again. When I pressed him for a full refund, Elahi refused to refund me in full, stating that's not going to happen. Instead, offering a measly partial refund, which leads me to believe this was really all about lining his pockets with money, by any means necessary. He knew he couldn't do the type of facelift I wanted. He knew he couldn't treat my issues, but was willing to lie so he could keep a couple thousand for himself. He then offered me meager laser treatments for the horrible keloid scars inflicted on me from the non-lifting facelift he performed, which to me felt like putting a band-aid over a bullet wound. If he truly wanted to make things right, a full refund would have done that. I now have to save up money to find a new surgeon to fix what he failed to do, which is going to be hard because revision facelifts are notoriously more difficult. Every day I look in the mirror and cry at what I went through. To be horribly scarred for 0 results. Suffering in immense post-op surgery pain for 0 results. Asking his assistant for post-op pictures has also been a nightmare. She sent them as tiny, barely viewable, pasted-in email photos. When I requested her to send them as downloadable, viewable files, my request was completely ignored. Gee, I wonder why. When I spoke with another facelift surgeon, he asked me if my facelift incisions were done by a drug lord in Mexico because the incisions were horrible. He couldn't believe I had work done in Toronto. I personally don't know what I did to deserve experiencing this nightmare surgery. To suffer through such horrible, painful recovery, scarring, and disrespect, only to look exactly the same as before surgery. I wouldn't wish such an experience on my worst enemy. If you choose to go to Elahi for a facelift, know this could very well be your outcome.